Hey everyone, I'm Ian McCarthy, and tonight I would like to talk to you about my central objection to heavy training for hypertrophy. And for those of you who are unaware, I've made a couple of posts about this on Facebook over the past couple of days, which have generated some really awesome discussion. If you haven't seen those, I would encourage you to follow the link in the description box below. Everything should be public. You should be able to see it. You need only have a Facebook account. And I made a post last night talking about wanting to produce a new video, and a number of you asked me to be more explicit about my views on this issue, and I'm happy to do that. I would note two things initially. First of all, I think there are a great number of considerations at play here, and what I really want to do with this video, for lack of a better term, is to give you my position stand on this, and then I would be glad to address more specific issues in future videos, Facebook posts, which is something I've done already, and so on. Additionally, I need to define what it is I mean by heavy training. I think a largely uncontroversial definition is 5 rep maxes and above in terms of load. My central reason for being very skeptical as to the value of this training is I see two assumptions being made that I don't feel are sufficiently evidentially justified. The first is that the combination of heavy training and moderate training yields greater strength gains in the moderate rep range than just training in the moderate rep range. I think this is something that needs to be directly shown with training studies, not assumed to be true on the basis of speculation. I think speculation is great, but we need to be wary as to the degree to which we draw conclusions and make practical recommendations on that basis. And indeed, I think the principle of specificity would at least suggest that the person who always trains in moderate rep ranges, let's say 8 to 12 reps, will be stronger in that rep range in the long term than the person who splits up the work they do between heavy training and that moderate training. Perhaps more importantly, what needs to be shown is that if that improvement in strength or strength advantage exists, that actually yields greater hypertrophy, given that is our objective. Now, I imagine a lot of you are thinking, what are you talking about? If training heavy allows you to bench more in the 8 to 12 rep range, whatever it might be, your chest is going to be bigger. And I understand that that's very intuitive. And if I had to say strength gains generally indicate muscle gain or not, I would probably agree with that proposition. But given muscle size is not the only determinant of strength, I think we can't simply assume that that carryover in strength, which again would need to be demonstrated, would yield greater hypertrophy. That would need to be shown directly. So my position is not one of you shouldn't train heavy. Heavy training is horrible, no bodybuilder should do it, it has no influence on hypertrophy, the person who trains heavy will gain no muscle. Rather, it's what is the best use of your time, energy, injury risk, what allows you to gain the most muscle relative to risk of injury, etc. And I consistently find myself coming to the conclusion of moderate to light training. And over the past few years of thinking about this issue, I found it increasingly more difficult to reasonably argue for the inclusion of genuinely heavy training for people who care exclusively about hypertrophy. So that is how I feel about this. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video if you find value in it. Comment below, agree, disagree, feel free to comment below. Make sure to check out the Facebook threads though, because so much was addressed there, and like I said, I'll be happy to address specific details in future videos. So thanks again. Freaky, baby.